Today, we will delve into a topic that may feel a bit heavy, yet is essential to our lives. As we journey through life, we all encounter winds. Sometimes waves rise, and at times, things don't go as planned. Often people don't act as we wish, and the world doesn't respond as we expect. In Buddhism, liberation is not a state where nothing happens in the world. It is not about longing for a sea without winds or waves. Rather, it is about cultivating a mind that remains steady, whether the winds blow or the waves crash. If we set sail and only wish for the winds not to blow and the waves not to rise, we will always be anxious. However, those who prepare a good ship and learn the art of navigation can speak differently. Winds, blow if you must. Waves, crash if you will. I am ready to cross. This mindset is akin to a mind nearing liberation. Liberation is not about escaping to a special place. Hiding deep in the mountains and avoiding everyone does not free the mind. When we meet people, our minds waver because of them. When we work, our minds waver because of the work. When with family, our minds waver because of them. Thus, freedom comes not when the environment quiets down, but when the mind remains unperturbed amidst chaos. We often think, if only that person would change, I'd be at ease, or if only this situation would end, I'd be happy. Yet, when one problem ends, another arises. After one wave passes, the sea does not remain calm forever. Another wave approaches from afar. Therefore, living well is not about finding a sea without waves, but about learning to maintain balance even on the waves. Someone who seemed so wonderful at first may reveal less pleasing aspects over time. Even children, born and raised by us, do not always act as we wish as they grow. How then can we expect the world to unfold solely according to our desires? When waves rise, ride them. When the sea is calm, enjoy the tranquility. Just because the world doesn't move as we wish, there's no need for our hearts to be bound and dragged into suffering each time. As we age, we hear news of death more frequently. Sometimes, unexpected news comes from someone we haven't heard from in a long time. Often, this news is not about how well they are doing, but rather that someone has passed away. There comes an age when no news means they are alive, and news often means it is about death. At the crematorium, we come to realize just how closely life and death are intertwined. A person who just moments ago had a name, a face, and a story soon becomes a handful of ashes. The tears and sorrow of those left behind are profound, yet the ashes themselves are silent and light. They simply signify that a life has completed its share of time. The deceased cannot explain death to us. They cannot convey the essence of death to the living. We fear death, yet we cannot truly experience it. Humans simply live, and at some point, they die. Thus, contemplating death is not a gloomy affair. Rather, it is a way to see life more clearly. When we live forgetting death, we become overly consumed by trivial matters. We agonize for days over a single word, harbor anger for long over minor losses, and fail to appreciate our blessings because we feel left behind. However, when we sincerely accept the inevitability of our departure, many things fall back into place. We begin to question whether the issues we are currently entangled in are truly worth holding on to until our final moments. We reflect on whether the person we harbor resentment towards is truly significant enough to occupy our hearts for so long. We ponder whether the possessions, status, and reputation we cling to hold any meaning in the face of death. Death is not there to frighten us, but to serve as a mirror that helps us realign our life's priorities. Therefore, we must contemplate both the heaviness of life and the lightness of death. Because death is so light, perhaps we can lighten the burden of our remaining life. There is no need to strive to grasp more, nor to carry excessively heavy burdens. Death is a natural occurrence, like the setting sun, the falling rain, and the blowing wind. As we age, death may seem daunting. However, there is no need to live clinging to fear. Instead, we need a calm readiness, akin to washing our face, tidying our clothes, and wrapping up the day. Let us go without causing expense. Let us go without burdening those around us. Let us go without clinging, without leaving behind a mess. If we have borrowed, let us return it. If we have excess, let us share it. Let us wash our worn clothes clean before we go. Those who have prepared their hearts in this way remain composed, even in the face of death. This preparation is not something to be done only in old age. It can begin today, offering overdue apologies, expressing gratitude to those we appreciate, letting go of unnecessary possessions, and gradually releasing long-held resentments are all part of preparing for death. Preparing for death is not just about arranging funeral rites, but about making the remainder of life lighter and more honest. If at the end of the day, there is much residue left in our hearts, that too is a burden to be sorted. The belief that we are right, that others are wrong, that we must be acknowledged, that having more ensures safety. When these thoughts accumulate, the burden on our hearts becomes heavier than the clutter in our homes. If we wish to be light before death, we must practice using our hearts lightly while we live. As we approach death and open our drawers and cabinets, there comes a moment when most of what we clung to throughout life feels like mere trash. The possessions we deemed precious, the desires we couldn't let go of, the things we hoarded thinking they might be needed someday, suddenly weigh upon us like the entirety of a lifetime. At that moment, we begin to ask ourselves, why have I held on to so much, yet postponed the things I truly wanted to do? Why couldn't I lighten my heart? Life can be a series of regrets. However, we cannot dwell in regret alone. From this moment on, we can fill our lives with more meaning. We can transform our lives from one of possession to one of deeper love, clearer understanding, and lighter letting go. There was a farmer who spent his entire life tending to his fields in a mountain village. The words he left for his children were not about a grand inheritance. Your mother worked hard lighting fires in every room. Please install a coal boiler for her. In this brief will lies the depth of life. It reflects a heart that accepts death as calmly as one would lead cattle to the fields each morning. Such words are not spoken by just anyone. They come from those who have lived long and whose hearts have matured. Life is heavy and death is light. If the goal of medicine is to conquer death, then medicine is destined to fail every time. While healing broken bodies and saving the sick is necessary, so too is the wisdom to gracefully assist those who are ready to depart. Death is not an enemy to be fought and conquered. It is a natural event to be quietly embraced when the time comes. Holding on to someone who is ready to leave can sometimes be an act of attachment rather than one of life. We must be able to let go of those who leave lightly. In the end, both the departing and those left behind return to a state of lightness. Of course, a light heart in letting go does not mean there is no love. There is sadness because of deep love, and the absence is felt because of long companionship. However, sadness does not mean we should hold on to the departing. True love may be the heart that says farewell, with hands joined when the time comes. What the living need is not regret, but mourning. Unspoken words may come to mind, and memories of not having done enough may pierce the heart. But lingering in regret does not bring peace to either the departed or the living. While alive, we should devote ourselves to those who are here, and after they have gone, honor their life quietly and live ours more rightly. This is the attitude we must learn in the face of death. When gazing at a handful of ashes, the meaning of life becomes clear. Those who once held the world, built vast enterprises, or ruled over many have all left this world. Qin Shi Huang, Steve Jobs, Kim Il-sung, Lee Kun-hee, they have all departed. Among those who lived grandly, who took their possessions with them to the end, no one did. There are three things that do not exist in this world. First, there is no single answer. In life, there is no one answer that applies equally to everyone. Second, there are no secrets. What we think is hidden will eventually be revealed, and the traces left in our hearts will ultimately manifest in our lives. Third, nothing is free. What we sow will return to us in some form, and every choice inevitably brings consequences. And there are three things we know for certain about death. First, everyone must die. Second, we die alone. Third, we cannot take anything with us. Conversely, there are three things we do not know about death. We do not know when we will die. We do not know where we will die. We do not know how we will die. Therefore, we must always live with readiness. While the way we are born is similar for everyone, the way we die is truly diverse. Thus, the essence of a person's life is revealed more deeply in their departure than in their birth. When I came into this world, I cried while those around me laughed. If, when I leave this world, those around me feel a sense of loss and I can depart with a peaceful smile, then that would be a life well lived. Do not seek a happy life from afar. The ability to walk, to eat, to converse with someone, and the simple fact of being alive and breathing are already great gifts. We often mistake great fortune for happiness. We believe that buying a house, gaining a name, earning a lot of money, and reaching a position others envy will bring us happiness. However, these things bring only momentary joy and soon lead to further desires. In contrast, lasting happiness is hidden in the ordinary things we often overlook. Waking up in the morning, drinking warm water, asking about someone's well-being, and being able to walk on our own feet today, only when these things are gone do we realize they were blessings. Therefore, do not take today's ordinariness lightly. A person who can appreciate an ordinary day is someone who already possesses much. Life is like a picnic. We should rest on the way there, rest on the way back, and take breaks to gaze at the sky whenever we can. Do not live life too busily. Do not exhaust each day as merely a means to achieve some end. A child on a picnic does not only think about reaching the destination quickly. They look at the flowers by the roadside, anticipate their lunch, listen to a friend's laughter, and enjoy the feeling of the breeze. Yet, as adults, we often treat life like a task. We push ourselves to arrive faster, achieve more, and gain more recognition. In doing so, we may reach our destination, but forget what we saw along the way. Living life like a picnic does not mean abandoning responsibilities. It means doing what needs to be done without losing the entirety of life because of it. Work for your family, but do not lose the time to look them in the eye. Strive for success, but do not forget the gratitude for today's sunshine and a single meal. Walk towards your goals, but remember that the journey itself is already life. We did not come into this world just to work. We were not born solely to succeed. Work and success may be parts of life, but they are not its entire purpose. We are beings gifted with the time to wander through this world. So do not turn life into a means to an end. Remember that life itself is the purpose. This journey does not gain meaning only by arriving somewhere. Seeing, hearing, loving, understanding, and letting go during the walk. All these processes are already life. If you go on a distant picnic but your heart is filled with turmoil and suffering, it cannot be called a true picnic. The person who truly enjoys life is the one who finds small joys amidst difficult stories and discovers things to be grateful for in a complicated world. Growing older is much the same. When you see someone aging gracefully, the world appears truly beautiful. Aging does not necessarily mean becoming worn out. Rather, there can be new depth within aging. Though aging and becoming worn may seem just a stroke apart in writing, their meanings are entirely different. Aging is the natural flow of life. However, becoming worn is when the heart closes, thoughts become rigid, and gratitude fades away. Aging is inevitable, but becoming worn is something we can observe. The wrinkles on our bodies are crafted by time, yet the creases in our hearts are formed by attachment. While it's natural for physical strength to wane, there is no need for the generosity of the heart to diminish. In fact, the longer one lives, the more one can understand, forgive deeply, and smile quietly. Being near someone who ages gracefully brings peace to the heart. Such a person speaks through their life rather than boasting of their stories. Though they have faced much, they have not hardened with resentment. Though they have lost much, they have not lost gratitude. Though they have seen the world's flaws, they have not aged into hatred. Their old age is more beautiful than youth. When aging and becoming worn come together, life is left with only emptiness and despair. However, if one ages without becoming worn, life is renewed each day. While the body ages, the heart and character can deepen. A more mature life unfolds, and enlightenment may draw nearer. Even at a young age, one can have an old heart, and even in old age, one can have a youthful heart. As the exterior ages, the interior can be renewed daily. This is the essence of aging beautifully. Conversely, if with age the heart becomes harsh, resentment grows, and gratitude fades, it is not aging, but becoming worn. Everyone ages once born. Yet, even as the body grows old, the heart can live with freshness. Living in this way, the heart remains ageless throughout one's life. Aging gracefully is truly a beautiful thing. It holds a deeper beauty than the splendor of youth. There are times when the refined elegance of a life shaped by time resonates more profoundly than the reckless exuberance of youth. Are you perhaps afraid or saddened by aging? It might be because the heart has aged before the body. Try to renew your heart. Embrace newness, reclaim gratitude, and fill the remaining time with love. The rings of age reveal the weight of life. With them, we can become more mature. Whether we walk slowly or run swiftly, the time given to us is but one life. Some leave after a short while, others after a long life. But ultimately, we all depart to where we must go. Therefore, live your precious time with love. Live with understanding. Do not fill the unique life given to us with only regrets of the past, but focus your heart on beautifying the days that remain. In living this way, you will realize that a happy world is not far away. You will feel gratitude for the wind, for the stones, and for the unseen heart. In moments of sharing warm laughter with dear ones, you will find yourself already rich in heart. Life is heavy, but death is light. So do not hold today's life too tightly. When the wind blows, let it blow. When the waves rise, let them rise. On this path, renew your heart. Let go lightly, love deeply, and age gracefully. That is the wisdom to navigate through a lifetime gracefully.